Russia is attacking Ukraine on all fronts, from east to west, from north to south. Russia is making rapid advances, solidifying its gains along Ukraine's crumbling front line ahead of any potential peace talks with Kyiv. In the east, Russia has captured the last Ukrainian stronghold in the Donbas region. In the west, Moscow launched a massive drone barrage, setting buildings on fire. Putin's forces are wearing down Ukrainian troops across the 1,100-kilometer front line. The question is peace possible under such circumstances? And if yes, what price will Ukraine really have to pay for that? As Russia continues to pummel Ukraine from all sides, what is Ukraine willing to sacrifice for peace? Now, before we go on, have a look at these images on your screen. Drone footage released by the Russian Defense Ministry on Sunday. What does it tell us? It shows men waving Russian flags on top of that heavily damaged building. These men are Russian troops, and they claim to have taken control of a Ukrainian village. It's called Velika Novosilka. If what Russians are claiming is indeed true, Ukraine has just lost its last stronghold in southern Donbas. And you see, that's a big setback for Ukraine. The town was a key component of Ukraine's heavily fortified defensive line in this region. It also served as a major logistics hub for the Ukrainian troops. Russians have been able to drive a wedge through Ukraine's defensive positions, through drones and artillery storming. And now, if you have been closely following the developments, you would know the importance of Donbas. The thing is, while Russia's larger objectives in the Ukraine war go a lot further, there has been one consistent goal. It is the capture of the industry-heavy Donetsk and Luhansk regions, also known as the Donbas. And ever since they captured the town of Avdiivka in February 2024, the Russians have remained on the offensive here. So it would be no exaggeration really to say that the loss of Velika Novosilka is a major setback for Ukraine. Sure, after 3 years of fighting, both Russia and Ukraine have shown interest in peace talks. But what will the price of that peace be is the big question. You see, it's not just the fact that Russia has captured the last stronghold of Donbas. It's the fact that Ukraine's entire front has collapsed on a daily basis. The Russian military is striking Ukrainian military infrastructure, warehouses for storing drones, and concentrations of Ukrainian military personnel and equipment. On Sunday, in fact, Ukrainian forces said they had repelled multiple Russian assaults in Kupiansk and Pokrovsk in eastern Ukraine. And Russia also claimed its troops had taken control of a settlement called Zelin in Donetsk region. As you can tell, fighting continues across various parts of the front line. In just the last 24 hours, the Ukrainian armed forces reported a total of 123 combat clashes at different parts of the front, from Vuhledar and Pokrovsk in the south to Chaziv Yar and Kupiansk in the north, and even in Kursk in Russia, where Ukraine staged a surprise invasion in August. Russia has overwhelmed Ukrainian forces. Ukraine's death toll alone is estimated to exceed 83,000. It is struggling to keep up its recruiting pipeline and bolster its ranks. Meanwhile, Russia has replenished the ranks of its dead and injured soldiers by attracting new recruits. And what's more, Russia's war machine is churning out missiles and drones and submarines. Just today, Russian Defense Ministry released footage showing the arrival of its fourth-generation nuclear-powered attack submarine. They call it the Arkhangelsk. It carries an array of seaborne weapons that gives it the capability to strike at both sea and land. The crew of this sub is expected to undergo additional training, after which the vessel will formally join Russia's Northern Fleet's naval force, ready for immediate deployment. Now, what it all means is that the Ukraine war is nearing another critical juncture, with pressure building for a ceasefire or a peace deal that would basically pause, if not outright, halt the fighting nearly 33 months in. Russia is trying to advance as much as possible and show its ability to sustain the same intensity of fighting. It will help Russia create a new reality on the ground, and it will also give it leverage over such issues like Ukraine's NATO membership prospects. And Ukraine knows it. In October, Ukrainian Major General Dmytro Marchenko made a rare public admission about the same. Later, he announced his resignation in what many saw as punishment, in a way, for his candor. Months after that incident, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is now making similar admissions. He has acknowledged a surge in military desertions amid growing war fatigue. He has said that they do not have the strength to retake the territories occupied by Russia. And, by the way, he has said there is one option remaining: talks with Vladimir Putin. And today the Kremlin has once again said that it is yet to receive any signals from the US about arranging a possible meeting between Putin and Trump. The Kremlin said it remains ready to organize such a meeting, but Russia has been ready for talks for many months now, albeit with conditions. And that is where the question of concessions really comes in. Last week, the new US president made vociferous attempts to pressure Putin into ending the war in Ukraine. He threatened sanctions on Russia if Trump does not come to, if in fact the leader does not come to the talking table. Remember, Trump also boasted he could end the war in 24 hours, but that's all that we've been seeing for the last 7 days between Trump and Putin. Invitations to talks, a little stroking of the ego in a way, a few jabs here and there. Yet, so far, the two leaders have not spoken. And from where we are sitting, what's happening between the two leaders only suggests that the only way to end the Ukraine war is for the two of them to meet, and presumably without the Ukrainians. Remember, it's still not clear what, if any, security guarantees Trump is willing to offer to Volodymyr Zelensky. He has been asking for it. And so we are back to square one. What is Ukraine willing to pay for peace? To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We now shift our focus to West Asia, specifically to the visuals coming up on your screen. You can see tens of thousands of displaced Palestinians carrying their belongings in those images and making their way back to their homes in northern Gaza on foot, following an agreement with Israel that basically included the release of 6 hostages, a move brokered by Qatar and Egyptian mediators that paved the way reportedly for 650,000 Palestinians in central and southern Gaza Strip to return to northern Gaza, most of which had been laid to waste by 15 months of the war. But for Gaza's 2.4 million inhabitants, their home is a constant international matter. Israel has claimed that 8 hostages due for release in the coming weeks are dead, putting the ceasefire deal at risk. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has asked Jordan and Egypt to take in Palestinians to, quote-unquote, clean out Gaza. Listen in.
And I'd like Egypt to take people, and I'd like Jordan to take people. You're talking about probably 1.5 million people, and we just clean out that hole.
So what exactly did Trump even mean by that? At this moment, it's not clear. As per reports, Trump did not give further details of the proposal, nor was the subject referenced in White House's official readout. Whether Trump has formally made the request to Egypt and Jordan is also unclear at the moment. But will Trump stop just at Gaza is the question. Palestinians with Israeli citizenship make up around 21% of the Israeli population. Will Trump ask his close ally, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, to displace around 2 million people? Or were Trump's comments about displacing Gazans a tactic to appease the Israeli government? Because the idea of encouraging Gazans to relocate to neighboring countries has long been pushed by hardline right-wing members of Netanyahu's government, like the Israeli finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, who in the past, remember, has said that Palestinians should emigrate to neighboring countries to allow Jewish settlements to be re-established? Or were Trump's comments just meant to test waters? By the way, Egypt and Jordan, both the countries have opposed Trump's plan, with Jordan rejecting any displacement of Palestinians as quote-unquote firm and unwavering. Listen in.
Our stance that the two-state solution is the path to achieving peace is firm and unwavering. Our rejection of displacement is also firm and unwavering. This is not only the steadfast and unwavering position of the kingdom, but it is also a necessity for achieving the security, stability, and peace that we all desire.
Egypt's foreign minister also said in a statement that transferring Palestinians, quote-unquote, risks expanding the conflict in the region. Meanwhile, Hamas described Trump's comments as, quote-unquote, very strange.
In reality, these remarks are very strange. In any case, the Palestinian people who paid with their blood in exchange for their steadfastness on their land will not leave the Gaza Strip and will remain steadfast on their land. Taking an example of the poet saying, "We will stay here until hope returns."
You see, Trump has a history of making hyperbolic statements in a way, floating ideas that fail to materialize. But what is he trying to do in this case is the big question. Is there more to this than meets the eye? To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We now focus on the simmering tensions between US President Donald Trump and the tech billionaire Elon Musk. You heard that right, simmering tensions. Their once seemingly strong alliance is reportedly showing cracks. Just days after Musk criticized Trump's Stargate plan, a $500 billion infrastructure project, AI infrastructure project. In fact, the two are now at odds over UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. As per reports, Trump has not only praised Starmer, but also highlighted their quote-unquote very good relationship. Trump's warm words for Starmer standing in sharp contrast to Musk's criticism of the British Prime Minister. In fact, Musk has publicly accused Starmer of being complicit in major scandals during his time as the UK's top prosecutor. In fact, he's also criticized Starmer's record on financial policies, claiming that he has created a financial crisis in the UK. Musk, remember, is also a vocal supporter of Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, and Musk on several occasions has praised Farage's policies on immigration and sovereignty. Now, perhaps this connection could further complicate Musk's relationship with Trump. Meanwhile, Trump's public support for Starmer has raised eyebrows, especially as it comes on the heels of Musk's criticism of the US president's Stargate project. Musk took to X to claim that the $500 billion venture lacked sufficient funding. Trump, however, appeared unbothered by Musk's skepticism, brushing it off during a recent press conference, stating that Musk, quote-unquote, hates one of the people in the deal, reportedly pointing at Musk's long-standing feud with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. But that's not even all. Tensions between Musk and Trump have also escalated beyond policy disagreements. Musk's reported ambition to have an office in the West Wing of the White House has been thwarted. As per reports, Susie Wiles, the first female chief of staff, has made it clear that Musk will not get a coveted spot in the West Wing. She reportedly emphasized that only team players who align with shared goals will operate within the main White House complex, reportedly silencing any speculation about Musk serving as a quote-unquote co-president or overshadowing US Vice President J.D. Vance. Instead, Musk and his leadership team are stationed in the Eisenhower Executive Office building, a short walk from the Oval Office. When Trump was asked by reporters on whether Musk would get a West Wing office, Trump firmly said no. Does that reveal a growing divide between the two influential figures? Musk has often been seen as a wild card in Trump's administration. As Trump's second term enters its second week, one question looms large. How long can Trump and Musk remain on the same side?
To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.